Hi, I'm Mike Dunn. I'm a graduate student at Liberty University and a 2022 doctoral candidate. For the past 17 years, I've served as a principal at Concord Academy in Concord, North Carolina. Concord Academy faces the same ministry challenge as other Christian schools, that is, keeping its ongoing school improvement plan front and center of meetings, decision-making, and planning. It's Aubrey Malphurs who shares those in leadership must understand the crucial importance of having a strategy. And that surely holds true regarding ongoing school improvement. According to Myers and Van Groningen, the basic idea behind school improvement planning is for educational leaders to develop a plan with measurable outcomes that, when implemented, will result in organizational improvements. But it's Kaplan and Miyake who drive the main point home, declaring that it's not enough to focus just on strategy development. You need to focus on strategy implementation. And that's what I want to share with you. For a few minutes, what I believe blends both strategy development and strategy implementation is a 6-step model that provides a clear picture of how to ensure that ongoing school improvement is a reality, not only in my school, but also in your school. Simply put, by embracing the 6 steps presented in this training video, leaders not only understand how to ensure ongoing school improvement, they are able to consistently practice and experience it as a self-perpetuating exercise. The model you see before you came out of a year of research and interviews with leaders such as yourself, who, like us, face the same ministry challenge of keeping ongoing school improvement alive. It's a real challenge in elementary schools, secondary schools, at the undergraduate level, and of course at the graduate level. Unfortunately, far too often, ongoing school improvement gets pushed to the back burner due to the pressures and strains of daily operations. Ken Engel, president of Southeastern University, challenges us as leaders when he writes, "It's the responsibility as leaders to pull the team's focus back to the important rather than allow their attention to be claimed by the shrill demands of the urgent." Let's get into the 6 important steps at this moment. The first step is to establish what we call REMOs, a list of REMOs. Flowing out of any effective accreditation, whether it's a reaccreditation or accreditation, you understand, I understand, those of us in education, the big self-study. What comes out of that entire process at each accreditation cycle is a list of what can be called REMOs. These are those recommendations, improvements, mandates, objectives, and those self-identified directives and suggestions from various stakeholders, including school leadership, advisory councils, faculty, parents, students, and of course the accreditation agency visiting team as well. These represent the dreams and the aspirations and the obligations of the school and must be kept in view. Failure to do so could result in mission drift, disillusionment, and frustration. Led by the head of school, these REMOs are kept in a secure retrieval system for consistent and ongoing review. Step 1, establish a list of REMOs. Step 2 is the selection of 3 to 5 REMOs annually. You know, it's not possible to do everything at once. So selecting 3 to 5 annually to focus on is prudent. There are 2 key aspects to consider when walking through this second step. One is deciding on what goals to focus on with any given year. That's based on the current school and community climate. The second is being willing to remain pliable when the unforeseen occurs. There is a foundational leadership question or set of questions that serve as a grid to determine an idea's viability of the current setting in the current season. These questions help differentiate between those ideas that could be described as wishful thinking, cookie cutter, or perhaps even an unreasonable option. Consider the following. Is it progressive? This denotes action, forward thinking, innovation, change? Is it sustainable? Can it be maintained, defended, without being too worker intensive and depleting resources? Is it attainable? Is there a realistic probability that this goal can be achieved within the current setting? Is it practical? This addresses the actual doing or implementing of something. It moves beyond the theoretical to application. Is it specific? There is a clearly defined, identified, and articulated goal. Obviously, is it measurable? How will this be quantified? How is it going to be noticed that we've achieved it? Is it wise? Experience, knowledge, good judgment, and timing considerations are all examined. But perhaps one of the most important questions that you got to sift everything you do through this grid is this: is it us? No two schools are alike. Is this Concord Academy? Is this our DNA? Is this what we want to engage in? Is this your DNA? Secondly, we got to remain pliable for the unforeseen. I don't have to tell you, the pandemic has just wreaked havoc on the educational system globally. This past 2 years at our school, our founding pastor and the person who started our school of 45 years passed away. Were there things that were interrupted? Absolutely. The church that our school is an integrated auxiliary ministry of wanted it to rebrand. And with that came our rebranding. Were we prepared 2 years ago when our reaccreditation had stopped to think about that? No. You just have to remain pliable for the unforeseen. Step 1, establish a list of REMOs. Step 2, select 3 to 5 REMOs annually to focus on. Step 3, establish the game plan. This step involves 3 components necessary for establishing the game plan. First, the head of school and his core team meet with the purpose of embracing a start to completion or a forward-thinking approach. It's recommended that the school leadership consider a software tool like Kombachi, which is basically a project management system that interfaces with Google. It's similar to the Pinterest when you create a board and pin it or assign tasks to it. Another tracking system option is Basecamp, and this would be more for the visual learners. This is a system that offers a more visual representation of your game plan. Second, while understanding what is to be done is admirable, it's only part of the process. Knowing who is responsible provides the accountability and the traction needed to accomplish the agreed upon goals. And third, a timeline is established by which to focus energy and the needed resources towards successful completion of the goal. Step 1, establish a list of REMOs. Step 2, select 3 to 5 REMOs annually to work on. Step 3, establish the game plan. Step 4, establish a communication plan. Communication to stakeholders not only motivates, but also holds school leaders themselves accountable. First, during the monthly all-staff meetings, the head of school will provide an ongoing school improvement update. This reciprocal communication exercise will be designed to facilitate discussion with the staff throughout the organization within the accreditation cycle. Most accreditation cycles are 6 years, so there obviously needs to be ongoing communication. And this will look for ways to praise others and to continue to motivate. Second, at least once a semester, the head of school should provide a state of the school update via recorded video highlighting and celebrating key accomplishments within the school community. This brief video is obviously positive, informative, and it's targeted. and it will serve the greater stakeholder community well by sending the message that not only is the school's mission and progress important, but that they, the stakeholders, are important as well. Pat McMillan reminds leaders that with respect to communication, we tend to focus most of our energy on the sending part of communication and little on the receiving side. It is the wise leader who embraces the benefit of reciprocal communication. Step 1, establish a list of REMOs. Step 2, select 3 to 5 REMOs to work on annually. Step 3, establish the game plan. Step 4, establish a communication plan. Now we're at step 5, conduct after-action reviews. With so many moving parts, so many events involved in operating our school, after-action reviews should be strongly considered, preferably once at the end of the fall semester in December, and again in the end of the spring semester in May or June. In an ideal world, and with a team working at peak performance, after-action reviews could be conducted at the end of each quarter. It really depends on how large your school is and how many major actions you're taking. By asking important questions in after-action reviews, you find out what happened, why did it happen, and how can it be done better. The leadership is able to remain in a continual mindset of improvement and goal setting. Now, after-action reviews is not about who did what wrong. Why did they do this wrong? And do we need to have a different person doing it? It's not about that. It's about what happened, why did it happen, and how can it be done better. As the organization succeeds, we all get the credit. As the organization fumbles, we all share the responsibility. After-action reviews, extremely important. So step 1, right? Establish a list of REMOs. Step 2, select 3 to 5 REMOs annually. Step 3, establish the game plan. Who, what, when. Step 4, establish a communication plan, a reciprocal communication plan, not only to staff and students, but also to the stakeholders at large. Step 5, conduct after-action reviews. What happened? Why it happened? How can it be done better? And finally, step 6, discern any future considerations. In order to realize ongoing school improvement, a self-perpetuating model is needed, much like the model that you see. Because we simply don't stop when the accreditation visiting team leaves. We are continuing to improve the next year, the year after that, and every year after that until the end of that accreditation cycle, and then we start the process all over again. And of course, there will always be new ideas and goals that your team will want to focus on that didn't make it on the REMOS list 4 years ago. Be flexible. Feedback flows out of after-action reviews, periodic internal assessments from a wide range of stakeholders, and is sifted and presented to the School Advisory Council or school board for determining if any of the findings, any of these new ideas that have come up should be added to the REMOS list for future consideration. When a future consideration is deemed worthy, it is simply placed on the REMOS list that is kept and secured by the head of school, and the entire model becomes a living, breathing, self-perpetuating strategy to ensure ongoing school improvement. So there it is. Here's the model. You see it, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good luck on your journey with ongoing school improvement. It's indeed a journey, right? It's not a destination. If you'd like to have an editable copy, just email me. My email's there on the screen. Call me. I'd welcome your call. There's my number. Blessings to you this school year on ongoing school improvement. Thank you.